without the people realizing. So you're using everything that the people love. And you're using it to make the people feel that you're using it because you love them. But it's only weapons against them that for the plans that you have for them. As soon as they are distracted enough to believe you. Everything is playing out in front of you, Jamaican people. Everything is being played. Yes, we know that they flushed you out 2020, 2022. I know that they flushed you out through the borders and flushed out you through the different things with them they put on you. And a lot of Jamaicans are now overseas. That is why the Jamaican audience is so foreign. You're not seeing Jamaican people because they were forced out of the country in order to facilitate the new Jamaica. Because if they were going to establish the new Jamaica with the real Jamaicans here, they will have to give the real Jamaicans justice first and then create the new Jamaica. But they never want the patience or the time to do that. So they drive out the people with the sovereign rights from down here. Because, again, the people are ignorant. A lot of them are ignorant to the fact that they are sovereign indeed to this island. Africa is suffering now because of the dismantling of how the culture did function out of Jamaica. So, yes, Ziggy, your father told you to keep the dollar in line, and you're doing that, my dearly beloved. But we see the flaws in the rollout of the biopic. We know who is behind the reason why it have to roll out the way it roll out. And we're giving thanks to the fact that Bob Marley's story will finally in some way, somehow be told. But the Bob Marley that we know, that we born out of, would want for the resistance to be represented. Would want for it to be known very clearly that as much as he was for peace and love in the world, the resistance that he put up was the willingness that he was willing to fight for that said peace. It wasn't a peace where everybody just saw us come talk about one love, one heart, let's all get together and feel all right. Yes, all of us that he wanted to get together to feel all right was us, the people, the regular man, the maroon and the Jamaican and the runaway slave and the Taino and the Indian and all of us that was living here as a colony and all of the colonization that divided us. That is what he died for, because he wanted to keep that unity. The original unity is what he died for. Because in order to get that unity, it would mean that all Africans would have to unite for real. And all Africans meaning free Africans and enslaved Africans would have to unite. Free Africans and enslaved Africans would have to unite in order for us as a people, as a black race, to see the kind of victory that would make sense. So those on the front line of Pan-Africanism and all the other different groups that are set up that were born out of the resistance, they should now be the strongest in terms of using their voices and collectiveness to come together and to bring it to the people like what Putin did in his interview with Tucker, to break down the history of Russia. What the reason for the war between Russia and Ukraine is because sovereignty and new ideas clashing. And there are people who would want the new idea, but they would not want to let go of their sovereignty and their sovereign rights as people to be and to belong, just like what we see happening over in Israel and Gaza. So in order to fix all of that and to have all the powers that be that governs outcome, the people will have to, meaning Israelite and Gazas, right? Ukrainians and Russians would have to come together in a form of a unity that represents pushing against the status quo in the form of always making war the only solution to any problems that we have in the world, whether it's in the family again or by extension with the people, the world, the communities that we live in. This is why we call on the RTs, because you were chosen by the Almighty to be the interceptor between God and the devil, where the people and their consciousness was concerned. And if you look carefully now, you're seeing where there's even here in Jamaica, me bex with your massacre, if you go and do no song for Andrew. Seeing? As artists, we're supposed to represent for the people. And these politicians and these people who want to have people love them should humble themselves and come to us and beg we. And we now go to the people and say, you think me if do this for them? And the people say, yeah man, you can't do it. Make we see it and see. Seeing? So, all of these politicians who just want to use music for when it benefit them in a politics, why you don't use it for help in a domestic problems in our communities? They use it right across the board. Don't just use the things that we love for your benefit and use them against us, and then you're telling us that is not indoctrination, that is not programming. It's programming because you're not allowing people to choose freely. You're telling them how to choose. You see me? And this country that I grew up in, I grew up here as a free person. It was not every Jamaican that were slave or enslaved. It was not every Jamaican that were slave or enslaved. Mark Golden is not a Jamaican in terms of his bloodline. Andrew Holness, maybe him have Jamaican bloodline, but he's not acting with Jamaican bloodline. There are a lot of different type of bloodlines that are here on this island, and we don't have enough bloodline that is here to defend the original people that was here, this set of people that used to live in peace and coexistence before all of this mayhem. That's why they say we have the longest revolt ever, because we are still in a revolt. And yes, you guys have managed to kill out and push down and shove back a lot of the resistance that came up against the partiality and the injustice of how the people that are true ears to any tune down here. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, you win, you kill them off, you shove them back, you do all I want to do. But you cannot enjoy the rock in its entirety if you do not stop and look at the most important asset on the rock. And the most important asset on the rock is the people on the rock. And not just the ones who you choose to be your followers in, whether they're going to put on orange or they're going to put on green. But people in general who live here, who know here, who had no other inclination to leave to go anywhere else. I can speak because I am a Jamaican-born woman who got through a lot of very dark moments here on this island, but never did it give me a reason to turn my back on my country, to curse my country, and to feel like my country was not worth fighting for. And so we learn the secret of what it means to survive in a true way, with we unclean and we heart pure. So in other words, even though we were suffering, we did not subject our people around us to suffering as well. And that is where we respect people like Bob Marley from. As much as he was suffering, he did not allow the people that loved him all around the world to suffer too. He bear the suffering and stood for them to the point of them to his death. They killed him because of that. Seeing, and we know this. And this is where we love and respect the family of him from. And I would love for Cindy and Rita to, in this modern time, you guys are still alive. And heterosexual black family relationship is under attack. It would be nice for you guys to meet up and make the world see, say, Cindy and Rita good. So the narrative that them trying to shape around Jamaican women right across the board, being bitter and ignorant, side chicks and baby mothers and no respect, now put round the names of these women, considering all the efforts and all the sacrifices made. That is something worth looking into. But sometimes if somebody not fighting for you, you have to fight for yourself. So if we say we love Jamaica so much and everything that Jamaica did for us, remember Rita Marley is Cuban and Cindy is Canadian or Canadian born Jamaican parents kind of a thing. I'm saying all of that to say these are foreigners who came into our space and benefited from something about us that is so great. And they happen to be two women who ended up become great companionship to one of our great men that was born off this rock here. That even in death is still significant enough to cause a story like this in the world. It's for us as Jamaicans right across the board, whether those imported, those born here, come through slavery, the out of many one. It's time for us to come into a collective together so that the world that was always influenced can now see the example of what it means to love culture, love country, love people, love family unconditionally. Yeah, them see what me I try to say. This is the kind of country where me born out of. And this is why I choose to turn on my phone today. Who we are fully and truly as a people who have been through so much with so little help. Doing. I am doing it by living. I am doing it by not falling along the way like a lot of my great ancestors did. I wanted to be around, to be able voice in a way that would make a difference not only for me and my family that I would have gotten from any system or any society, but the support of raw love. When I was in a lot of my darkest moments, it was the ability to turn to music and the love when we get from to be there. Always be in gratitude of that. I will always be grateful to that. And that is where I lend my voice from. The idea of what true change really means. The idea of saying that true change begins with me. It's an actual thing. It's about looking in your individual self and how it is that I can make a difference with how I deal with a situation one way or the other. You know what I mean? And so, as I say, without staying much longer, the new world is forming out of this island here, Jamaica. Any new world we are farm is down here it a farm from. There's a ace, there's a hurry to get it off the ground, to get it a particular way. This local government election, the passion and the flowing over in the streets of everyone and all of that, it's just the passion of people really wanting that change so much and not necessarily getting it from anywhere. The powers that be are not using it to the benefit of the people looking on. They're just using it to find as much loyalists as they can get. So we're still saying that the unity that we need to establish as black people here in Jamaica, will still have to come from the players that be in the form of us musicians, us people that have influence, that can come together, put in our pride and all them something there aside for, yeah man, the connection always I'll get trouble when me a chat, man. I saw them. You see me?